I'll just minimize it. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir, for a little announcement. So all the participants are again requested to please keep their mics off till the session is going on. We will have a query and question session at the end of the session. So please listen and adore the session.
Yes. So Dr. Puneet, now the full screen is visible to the audience now?
Yes, sir. You can continue.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So good morning to everyone, and I must say that as I mentioned, that I'm thrilled to be here amongst and given this opportunity to present my thoughts on critical thinking and decision making. So before I start, just a few housekeeping rules. Number one is that please, all of you, please relax. There is no stress of taking any notes. And I will share this presentation with you in case you want, or in fact I will share. Okay, so what I want is your complete attention towards this. And as Dr. Puneet mentioned a while back, after this about 50 or an hour of interaction, you should be my endeavor would be to make sure that you go back with some thoughts in mind, which will broaden your horizons, and which will make you think uh, any decisions in your life that you're taking, or any sort of a situation that you're facing. So you should be thinking differently after this small interaction. So no notes, nothing, just listen to what I have to share. This is out of my experience in life. And so who I am, Dr. Puneet has already introduced. So I am Commander Sandeep Padam, retired. I joined Navy in Jan 2000. Before that, I was in NDA from 1996 to 99. And then after retirement, I have joined a company called Lowe's in March this year as a Senior Director IT. And apart from the technical, I am essentially a technical person. In the Navy, I was looking after the technical equipment, the electronic equipment on board the ships, electronic equipment and weapons on board the ship. But then I feel that apart from the technical skill set or any skill set that you have, it will be of use only when you are able to apply it correctly through a very sound and clear thought process. And that thought process will come to you only when you are able to have certain fundamentals clear about your life. So this is my endeavor in this interaction. And moving next. Yes. So before we come on to the actual nuances of critical thinking and decision making, I will narrate a small incident which occurred. It's a real incident which occurred in India a few decades back. Okay, so the incident name is Project Samanvita. It occurred in 1978 in a place in a district called Naupada district in Odisha. Now, the government at that point of time noticed that the district is very poor and there is large scale migration taking place during non-agricultural season. And they said that, okay, the schools are empty and there are no takers for government schemes. Then they said that, we need to help poor. And in order to help the poor people, we need to have some sort of a buffer. Let's give them some sort of a job so that, they don't migrate, they remain at the same place, and then they take advantage of the government scheme. So with this background, they said that, and what was the scheme? So the scheme was that they will create a miracle cow with will be a mixture of a local cow plus a Jersey male. A Jersey male they were supposed to be getting from US. They will create a miracle cow and that and will hand over this miracle cow to the owner. And so that the owner in due course of time becomes an owner of several bulls and high yield cows. High yield cows which will give much more, milk than what they are giving now. And then they said that in order to make sure that nothing is missed out, they made sure that all the poor people will also get 1 acre of land, and where they can produce subbable trees, and these trees can become a fodder for these cows. So that way they made a complete plan which on paper looked very good. And in fact the thought process behind this was quite genuine if we see back. And after that, just to make sure that nothing is missed out, they also involved various stakeholders, so that whatever government is thinking, just to make sure they connect up with people, because on ground क्या हो रहा है वो भी जानना बहुत जरूरी है. उसके लिए गवर्नमेंट ने बाकी जो स्टेक होल्डर्स है उनको इन्वॉल्व किया, एनजीओ को इन्वॉल्व किया, स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया को इन्वॉल्व किया, रेवेन्यू डिपार्टमेंट, वेट डिपार्टमेंट, सो बहुत सारे लोगों को और इन्वॉल्व किया, बिकॉज वो चाहते थे कि दिस स्कीम शुड बी absolutely foolproof and successful. And so like इसमें फिर एक पॉइंट सामने आया, ठीक है, एंड दैट पॉइंट वाज दैट व्हेन ऑल ऑफ दीज स्टेक होल्डर्स गॉट टुगेदर, दे थॉट दैट ओके समथिंग इज देयर व्हिच मे हैपन. नाउ टू अवॉइड दैट समथिंग, this is what they thought. Okay, so they also would have applied critical thinking and decision making, what we will be discussing in a while. So what they said was, what will happen if this pure Jersey breed falls in love with a local cow? Okay, aim of the project is what? As I said a while back, aim of the project is to have a high yield cow. Okay, लेकिन अगर normal जो cows हैं वो आपस में जो है they will produce a normal cow or a bull, which is not acceptable. So they said that they will sterilize all the local bulls to make sure that only the pure Jersey breed they remain, and no other local breed is there. So far so good, everything on paper, and everything looked absolutely perfectly fine on ground. But then let's see the situation after 10 years. 10 साल के बाद क्या हुआ? Let's see that. So the result of Project Samanvita, which started in 1978, was that in the entire region there were no cows, local cows left, and all the calves who were born were difficult to rear and they usually died. And due to sterilization drive, the local bulls were got extinct, and the tree option was given that they can to take care of the fodder requirement of cows, that they will have some subbable, they will be given a land and they can produce subbable trees, but the trees were not suitable for that particular land. And then they said, and the next thing was that people over there were dependent on cattle during this non-agricultural season, and they were completely wiped out of their cattle stock. So if we see, and incidentally the district was dairy surplus area before the scheme, and now the milk producers became milk buyers. तो जो उन्होंने पहले सोचा था कि अच्छा होना चाहिए, उसका पूरा उल्टा हुआ. ठीक है, काउ ज्यादा होनी चाहिए थी लेकिन काउस खत्म हो गई. ठीक है, एंड जो सबबुल ट्रीज थे वो बहुत सारे होने चाहिए थे, वो बिल्कुल ही खत्म हो गए. सो एवरीथिंग वेंट जस्ट द अदर वे राउंड इन स्पाइट ऑफ सो मच ऑफ इन्वॉल्वमेंट ऑफ एवरीवन. ओके, सो ये जो इंसिडेंट है मैंने इस बुक से लिया है. दिस इज बुक इज कॉल्ड एवरीबडी लव्स अ गुड ड्राउट. आपको मौका मिलेगा तो प्लीज बाय इट, स्पेंड सम टाइम ऑन इट. इट विल गिव यू ऑल द रॉन्ग डिसीजंस इन लाइफ. ओके, so this interaction is basically about taking the right decisions. Lekin before that you should know that what are the wrong decisions as well, what went wrong. So what went wrong in this case? If we look back, money is not a constraint, manpower is not a constraint, skill set is not a constraint. It was driven from the top. It was a government scheme. Okay, so it was driven from the top, and everybody wanted a favorable outcome. No, there was no opposition to this. Everybody said, okay, this is something good, this is something required. And the villagers were also very keen, and all perspectives including cow psychology was taken into account. Okay, this is just in humor, but पॉइंट इज कि सब कुछ हमने सोचा, इतना प्लान किया, ठीक है, किसी चीज की कमी नहीं थी, लेकिन सब कुछ उल्टा क्यों हुआ? ठीक है, लेट्स थिंक अबाउट दैट एज वी प्रोसीड. सो now we come to our actual topic, that is critical thinking and decision making. So starting with this thing ki, no, there are no ready-made answers, but what I will be providing is a framework. Okay, you will not get a clear-cut, distinct answer that this is what you should be doing, but you will get is a sort of a framework that this is what should be done. Okay, and ultimately every decision you are taking, you are responsible for it. So the thought process has to emanate from you only. जो पूरी थिंकिंग है वो आप ही के भीतर से निकलेगी, तभी आप जो है वो डिसीजन ले पाओगे. So generally, what are the typical questions that you face now in your personal life, especially when you are here at the cusp of your, a career transformation? See, what career should I choose? Where should I invest my money? What bike should I buy? घर जाने के लिए कौन सा रास्ता लूं? Where should I take elevator? Should I take stairs? Okay, these are the personal things. As you get into some sort of a job, and once you realize, get into some sort of a business, तब आपके पास जो है क्वेश्चंस थोड़े से अलग हो जाएंगे. तब ये होगा कि शॉर्ट टर्म प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी पे सोचें या लॉन्ग टर्म कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज पे सोचें. उसके बाद में व्हाट आर द न्यू बिजनेस इनिशिएटिव्स, हाउ डू वी डाइवर्सिफाई आवर बिजनेस, हाउ डू वी मैक्सिमाइज आवर प्रॉफिट. ठीक है, जो ऑपरेशंस है उनको सेंट्रलाइज करें, डिसेंट्रलाइज करें. तो थिंग्स लाइक दैट इज व्हाट आर द टिपिकल क्वेश्चंस दैट यू विल बी फेसिंग इन लाइफ. So critical thinking is that, let's come to the definition. Okay, now this is the word, there are a lot of definitions, but this is what is here, which is which mentions that critical thinking is skillful, responsible thinking that is conducive to good judgment because it relies on criteria, is self-correcting, and is sensitive to context. So what it means is, let's go into it threadbare. So before we go into it, एक concept है which is called as bounded rationality. Okay, so bounded rationality का क्या मतलब है कि आप किसी भी चीज के लिए, ठीक है, पूरी तरह से उसके बारे में नहीं सोच सकते. कोई भी आप सॉल्यूशन को आप कर रहे हैं उसके बारे में पूरी तरह से आप नहीं सोच सकते. जैसे if we see the previous example, इसमें भी everybody wanted to do things right, but they could not do because they could not think of all possible eventualities. Okay, so that is bounded rationality कि जो भी आपकी सोच है वो complete कभी नहीं हो सकती, वो हमेशा bounds में रहेगी. Okay, so that is the concept of bounded rationality. So coming back to the definition, so critical thinking is skillful. Skillful means कि जिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आप सोच रहे हैं उसका स्किल आपके पास होना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आप किसी लॉ के बारे में कोई सॉल्यूशन सोच रहे हैं तो यू हैव टू हैव स्किल सेट इन लीगल प्रोसीडिंग्स. इफ यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट सम टेक्निकल इश्यूज और मैकेनिकल इशू, सो देन आपको जो है मैकेनिकल स्किल सेट आपके पास होना चाहिए. सो यू हैव टू हैव स्किल इन दैट पर्टिकुलर एस्पेक्ट. Responsible, whenever you're thinking, you need to be think responsibly, क्योंकि आपका जो आपका आउटकम है डिसीजन का, it will be there, it will have some ramification on someone else. So you need to think from that जो भी आप डिसीजन लेंगे उसका किस पे असर पड़ेगा. That is conducive to because it relies on objective criteria. Now criteria is very important. The point is कि जब भी आप कुछ सोच रहे हैं तो आपको एक क्राइटेरिया जो है वो आपको आपके पास एक होना चाहिए. कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप ये देख रहे हैं कि आपको नई बाइक लेनी है, तो उस पे आप व्हाट क्राइटेरिया डू यू मेक? या तो आपका रिक्वायरमेंट है कि बाइक का माइलेज अच्छा होना चाहिए, या आपका क्राइटेरिया है कि बाइक जो है वो अच्छी दिखनी चाहिए. Okay, so that way you need to have some sort of a criteria, and then it is something which is self-correcting. So what does self-correcting means is that you should not be adamant on a particular criteria. जो भी आपने सोचा है, you should be thinking कि उसको आप change या ठीक कैसे कर सकते हैं. You should be open towards making any correction to the thought process that you are going to. And lastly, sensitive to the context. So sensitive to the context means you should know that what is happening, around the world, and what is happening around your locality. For example, there was a time when there was a marathon being planned in Delhi. I think it was Airtel half marathon at some point of time, because and at that same time there was an earthquake somewhere else in the country. So the Airtel people, they said ki, okay, now since there is earthquake, so we were cancelling this half marathon just as a solidarity to the people who are affected. So आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आसपास भी आपके क्या हो रहा है. So this is just broadly जो है, this forms the definition of critical thinking. So जब भी आप सोच रहे हैं किसी भी चीज के बारे में, तो आपको उसके बारे में स्किल सेट होना चाहिए. स्किल सेट नहीं है तो आप दूसरे लोगों से डिस्कस करिए उसके बारे में. Okay, you should be responsible, and you should be having some sort of a criteria. And similarly, it should be self-correcting. You should be ready to correct yourself, and you should be sensitive to the context. So इस definition को आप हल्का सा अपने दिमाग में रखिए whenever you're thinking about a decision in future. Just to give one more example, whenever you go for an interview, आप जब अभी इंटरव्यू के लिए जाएंगे किसी भी जॉब के लिए, तो आप भी यही चाहते हैं कि जो भी इंटरव्यूअर है उसने कोई क्राइटेरिया डिफाइन करना चाहिए ताकि ही इज फेयर. ओके, ही इज नॉट बायस्ड, राइट. ये सब हम इसलिए कर रहे हैं ताकि कोई बायसेस कहीं ना हो. तो आप ये चाहते हैं कि इंटरव्यूअर जो है वो सबको एक नजर से देखे, सबको देखे कि किसने, और वो जो एक नजर है उसके लिए उसने कुछ क्राइटेरिया जो है वो बनाया होना चाहिए. अगर वो क्राइटेरिया नहीं है तो यू फील that he's not done his job properly. So similarly, when you are taking a decision, you should also think on similar lines. So moving next, this is again, some of the things which you should keep in mind whenever you are, taking thinking that there should not be any vested interest, and you should have empathy into diverse opposite views. आप अगर किसी चीज के बारे में सोच रहे हैं कि सपोज मैंने एक बाइक ही लेनी है, ठीक है, तो देन यू शुड बी ओपन टू somebody else also telling you कि नहीं, इस बाइक में ये प्रॉब्लम है, आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट अगर माइलेज की है तो आप इस बाइक को भी ट्राई करो. सो you should be willing to accept others views as well. So that is one. And then you should be committed and to be entertained to all viewpoints systematically. You should be clear, precise, consistent, fair, accurate, relevant. Okay, so ये है कि जब भी आप किसी भी सोच पे थोड़ा सा टाइम दोगे, तब ये जो सारे पॉइंट्स यहाँ पे लिखे हैं, all of them will automatically fall into place. उसके बाद में दिस इज जस्ट सम अदर रेफरेंसेस फॉर यू कि बिफोर व्हेन यू आर थिंकिंग you आप ये whenever you are thinking you should be having these paradigms in your mind कि क्लैरिटी है आपके थॉट प्रोसेस में, आप प्रिसाइज हैं नहीं हैं, स्पेसिफिक हैं या नहीं हैं, एक्यूरेट हैं या नहीं हैं, दैट वे. ओके, नाउ लेट्स कम टू डिसीजन मेकिंग. डिसीजन मेकिंग आपकी जो है वो पर्सनल हो सकती है. पर्सनल डिसीजन मेकिंग क्या है कि अगर आप आपको एक्सरसाइज करने का टाइम नहीं मिल रहा पढ़ाई की वजह से, और आपको 3 स्टोरी जो है यू हैव टू गो ऑन स्टेयर्स, सो यू विल गो बाय लिफ्ट और यू विल गो बाय स्टेयर्स. सो दैट इज अ पर्सनल डिसीजन. रेड लाइट है, यू हैव टू जंप रेड लाइट और नॉट, दैट इज अ पर्सनल डिसीजन. एंड आपके पास 1 घंटे का टाइम है, आप कोई बुक पढ़ेंगे या नेटफ्लिक्स पढ़ेंगे. Okay, so that is या Netflix देखेंगे, so that is your personal decision. And business decision could be कि आप whenever you get a job or whenever you have an employer, तो उसके लिए what are the decisions to him, team size में अपना क्या रखूं, खर्चे कैसे कंट्रोल करूं, टेक्नोलॉजी में इन्वेस्ट करूं या ह्यूमन में इन्वेस्ट करूं. all those concerns are there for a typical business. So these or again, in our life we are always taking a decision whether to, for abhi aap is meeting mein hain, is meeting mein continue rehna hai ya nahi rehna. So that is again a decision that would be going in your mind. And so that way again you're taking a decision in life. And then the point is कि जो भी आप डिसीजन ले रहे हैं उसका कुछ ना कुछ आपके जिंदगी में अफेक्ट जो है वो पड़ेगा, ठीक है. एंड देन यू हैव टू थिंक कि कौन सा डिसीजन आप लेंगे जिससे जो अफेक्ट है वो पॉजिटिव रहे. सो दैट ब्रिंग्स अस टू द क्वालिटी ऑफ डिसीजन. सो व्हाट शुड बी द क्वालिटी ऑफ योर डिसीजन. सो आपका डिसीजन की क्वालिटी ऐसी होनी चाहिए सो दैट इट मेक्स यू स्टैंड आउट फ्रॉम अदर्स. Okay, and the decision should result in the intended benefit. Okay, so what is intended benefit? Intended benefit ये है कि अगर आपके पास एग्जाम अभी आपके आ रहे हैं, you have got time, so whether you should watch Netflix or you should watch you should read a book, right? So you know what is the right decision in that particular case, which will result in your intended benefit, that is clearing the exam. So that is what the point is, that before doing anything, give it some time and then you do that particular action rather than jumping straight away into it. So जैसे ये जो the circle जो यहाँ पे circle बना हुआ है, it mentions from a business perspective. बिजनेस क्या सोचता है कि लॉन्ग टर्म में क्या डिसीजन लूं, शॉर्ट टर्म क्या लूं, सेंट्रलाइज लूं या डिसेंट्रलाइज लूं, लाइक ऑल दोस टिपिकल थिंग्स अगेन. पर यह है कि आप इसको अपनी लाइफ से भी कोरिलेट कर सकते हैं. So coming to the actual decision making process, now this is something which again as I mentioned कि ये है आपके लिए एक framework है. Okay, so you will not get ready made answers, but this is a general sort of a framework. So suppose इसमें 7 steps लिखे हुए हैं. Let's see, take an example of, say if you want to buy a new TV for your home. So आप क्या करेंगे? स्टेप नंबर 1, यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द डिसीजन कि आपको एक टीवी चाहिए, ठीक है. देन यू विल गैदर इंफॉर्मेशन कि कौन सा टीवी अच्छा है, किसकी जो है क्वालिटी अच्छी है, किसकी पिक्चर क्वालिटी अच्छी है, किसकी जो है मेंटेनेंस में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, किसका रिमोट अच्छा है, एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. यू विल गैदर इंफॉर्मेशन. देन यू विल आइडेंटिफाई ऑल्टरनेटिव्स. यू विल सी कि ओके अभी जो आपने इंफॉर्मेशन गैदर करी है उसके हिसाब से कौन कौन से ऑल्टरनेटिव आपके पास अवेलेबल है, कौन कौन से ब्रांड आपके पास अवेलेबल है, चाइनीज ब्रांड लेना है, इंडियन ब्रांड लेना है, जापानीज ब्रांड लेना है. यू विल आइडेंटिफाई ऑल द ऑल्टरनेटिव्स. देन यू विल वे द एविडेंस. वे द एविडेंस मीन्स कि जो आपने शुरू में सोचा है कि आपने सोचा होगा कि मेरा बजट इतना है तो उसमें कौन सा टीवी आ रहा है, मेरे को जो है 42 इंच नहीं चाहिए, मेरे को 32 इंच चाहिए, तो वो कितने टीवी आ रहे हैं. तो वो आप जो है उस टाइप से आप अपना जो एविडेंस है उसको यू विल अटैच अ वेट टू ईच ऑफ देम. हो सकता है कि टीवी आपको बहुत पसंद आया तो आप जो है अपना बजट ओवर स्पेंड करने के लिए रेडी हैं. सो दैट वे. then you will choose among the alternatives available. अब आपने जो भी steps 1, 2 and 3 में काम किया है, so you will have some alternatives. You will choose what the alternative and then you will take an action, and then after action you generally review your decision that okay मैंने ठीक किया या गलत किया. You take feedback from others. So this is a generic decision making process which should be there as part of your thought process in each and every decision. And implicitly आप लोग ये कर भी रहे होंगे. ओके, जब भी आप सोच रहे हैं कि ओके ठीक है अभी करियर में क्या डिसीजन लेना है, शुड आई गो इनटू डिफेंस, शुड आई गो इनटू बिजनेस, शुड आई डू एमबीए, शुड आई डू डिप्लोमा और शुड आई डू मैनेजमेंट. तो जो भी आप ऐसे डिसीजन ले रहे हैं, सोच रहे हैं, तो उसमें यू विल बी फॉलोइंग द सेम प्रोसेस. एंड व्हेन यू आर फॉलोइंग द सेम प्रोसेस, उसमें यू विल रियलाइज दैट दीज टू थिंग्स आर द मोस्ट important ones, that is weighing the evidence and choosing among the alternatives. So I'll just give you one personal example that in my case in 2004, so I was there in a training unit, and luckily ऐसी जगह पे थे where we had about 2 or 3 hours available in the afternoon time. So I had 2 options, either to take rest in that afternoon time or do something productive. So then I thought, okay, let's buy a computer. So in 2004, computer was still not as prevalent as it is now. So I got a computer, and then I started spending some time on it in the afternoons when most of my other friends were sleeping. So and then I learned about C, C++. Us time pe there was a language called front page. So I used front page for web development and stuff like that. So I learned a lot, and whatever I am now is because of that particular decision which I had taken of not sleeping in the afternoon, but investing time, money and energy into buying and working on a computer. So that way, before you take any decision, you please give it a thought that whether it is right or not, you will have the answer within. So next we come to the concept of something known as paradox. So paradox मतलब यही है कि आप सोचते हैं कि क्या अच्छा होना चाहिए, लेकिन वो अच्छा नहीं होता, उसका बिल्कुल उल्टा होता है. So इसमें example is गंगा action plan and यमुना action plan. So इस पे जो है government has already spent 17,000 crore rupees. So but still Ganga and Yamuna are equally as bad as they were before the plan. And if we compare it to the Thames model, so Thames is a river in UK. So wahan pe this model has been successful. So what is the reason for it failing in India, but it is successful outside? So that is something that I leave up to you to think about. Now शुरू में हमने देखा कि जो गवर्नमेंट ने जो सोचा था वैसा नहीं हुआ. लेकिन now I will just share you with one correct decision which government has taken, and that correct decision is the Project Tiger. Okay, in 1972 से पहले की बात है जब tiger hunting was quite rampant, and the tiger population had really diminished to single digits. So at that time government realized कि we should do something about it, and within a year they drafted a Wildlife Protection Act, and they established Project Tiger in 1973. और अभी जो है tiger के numbers are substantial. So this is a very example of a correct decision in spite of again the same government setup is same as it was there in 1978, and but then in this case this was a success. Now why was this a success? Uske liye I will not go deep into it, but I will just share with you that these are some of the things which you should keep in mind whenever you are making a decision. And isme the main critical thing which I have underlined over here is feedback. It is very important to take a feedback on what you are doing. Okay, because again the concept of bounded rationality, ऐसा हो सकता है कि जो आप सोच रहे हो वो ठीक नहीं हो, आपको लग रहा है कि ठीक है, तो हो सकता है वो ठीक ना हो. तो जितने आप ज्यादा लोगों से इंटरेक्ट करोगे उतना आपको ज्यादा उसके बारे में पता चलेगा. सो कमिंग टू द वेइंग द डिसीजन, तो उसमें ये बहुत जरूरी है कि आप यू डू ग्राउंड वर्क. ओके, सो ग्राउंड वर्क इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर हम सबसे पहले वाला एग्जांपल देखें, उसमें क्या ग्राउंड वर्क नहीं हुआ था? मे बी the government and everybody else did not take the villagers point of view into account. उन्होंने villagers से नहीं पूछा कि आपको क्या चाहिए, आपको जो है जो हम ये सोच रहे हैं ये आपको, आप सोचते हो आपको इससे मदद मिलेगी या नहीं मिलेगी. तो ग्राउंड वर्क वाज नॉट डन. ओके, and then the vision and value system is very important कि आपकी value क्या है. Value is to help others, or what is it that you actually want in the end. And another thing when you are weighing the decision is you should see the effect on the weakest stakeholder. The weakest stakeholder should be harmed the least. इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर हम पहले वाला एग्जांपल देखें, उसमें weakest stakeholder क्या है? Weakest stakeholder है nature और the cow. ठीक है, जो भी इन्होंने वो काम किया उससे सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्ट किसे पड़ा? सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्ट पड़ा वहां पे काउ को, बिकॉज द काउ पॉपुलेशन वाज अफेक्टेड, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट देयर वर सम अदर एक्टिविटीज. ऑफ कोर्स द ह्यूमंस आल्सो गॉट अफेक्टेड आफ्टर दैट. बट ये है कि जो सबसे वीकेस्ट स्टेक होल्डर है, यू शुड सी फ्रॉम दैट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कि उस पे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा. And of course lastly empathy is very important. Empathy means कि आप दूसरे के पर्सपेक्टिव से सोचिए कि आपके डिसीजन का अफेक्ट क्या पड़ेगा. इसका सबसे अच्छा एग्जांपल ये है कि सपोज यू थिंक कि यू आर इन अ पोजीशन ऑफ पावर. ओके, आप एक पावर की पोजीशन में हैं और आपको जो है एक लॉ बनाना है फॉर ट्रैफिक. सो उस ट्रैफिक के लॉ के लिए आप जो है क्या क्या मेजर्स यू विल इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज. नाउ you have the power to do whatever you can. Okay, आप ये कर सकते हैं कि मैं जो है जो भी ट्रैफिक लाइट जंप करेगा उस पर 10,000 रुपए का जुर्माना डाल दूं या 5,000 रुपए का डाल दूं. बट at the same time you have to think from the perspective of the guy who's traveling. Okay, the guy who's going on bike, the person who's going on rickshaw, the person who's going on auto, कि उस पे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा उसका. So that way if you that is called empathy, कि आप दूसरे के बंदे के दूसरे आदमी के नजरिए से देख रहे हैं कि काम मतलब जो आपका उसके नजरिए से देख रहे हैं कि वो क्या फील कर रहा है. ठीक है, तो once you have that empathy factor in mind, so then things will be much more sort of smoother. So all this is just all this should be there at the back of your mind whenever you're thinking about taking any decision, be it in your life, be it business, or anything else. And again lastly I would say that it is an established fact that most profitable or advantageous decisions from the organization perspective would have a negative effect on some stakeholder. तो सारे के सारे जो हैं वो खुश नहीं होंगे, किसी ना किसी पे नेगेटिव अफेक्ट हमेशा होगा. So that also you have to keep in mind whenever as you grow in your careers. So again you have to be aware of the fact that at some point of time you cannot make everybody happy. So that is there, but then you also have to be aware of the fact कि your rationality is bounded. जो भी आप सोच रहे हैं वो पूरा नहीं होगा, उसमें कुछ कुछ some things you will always tend to miss. So that's all from my side for critical thinking and decision making. Now I am open to any questions if you have any.
So participants are free now to have their queries. So they can write in the chat box, raise their hands. So whatever they want to ask, they can write in the chat box. So, okay, so one question I would like to ask, like if I am taking some decision on a very critical matter, then
Hello.
how can I know that my decision is right? How will I come to know that my decision is right and I'm going in the right way?
I'm not able to. Yeah, is it there in the chat?
No, I'm just.
हेलो सर.
Hello.
हेलो सर, एक सर आपसे तो डाउट पूछना है.
Better write in the
हाँ.
chat box, please.
ओके मैम.
So while he is writing, I was just asking that if I have to take a decision about some very critical matter, so how will I come to know that that my decision is absolutely right?
Yeah. So in this, absolutely right is a utopian state. So nothing is absolutely right or absolutely wrong. The thing is कि आपको जो भी critical decision लेना है, उस decision को लेने से पहले you will have some inputs available with you. Okay, so based on those inputs is what you will be taking that decision. And the thing is that in case the best way to to verify that whether you are going on the right track or not is to interact with as many people as you can. So आप जो है अपनी thought process जो है जब आप किसी चीज के बारे में suppose आप decision ले रहे हैं for your what career you should choose, and suppose you have chosen a career of going into management. Okay, we are just taking a use case. So जब आपने ये डिसीजन लिया है कि आप मैनेजमेंट में जो है अभी से पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करेंगे, सो आपने वो डिसीजन लिया होगा बेस्ड अपॉन थिंकिंग दैट ओके यू फील दैट यू आर गुड इन मैनेजमेंट, यू फील दैट यू हैव गॉट दोज एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एंड मैनेजमेंट कैपेबिलिटीज. आपने अपनी कैपेबिलिटीज के बारे में कुछ सोचा होगा, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट थिंकिंग यू वुड हैव कन्वर्ज्ड अपॉन अ मैनेजमेंट कैरियर. सो बेस्ड ऑन दैट नाउ द थिंग इज कि ये है आपकी सोच, अभी तक आपने अपने तक ही ये रिस्ट्रिक्ट किया है. So now, in order to make sure that this decision is correct or not, what can you do is you can interact with more. You speak to your friends. Okay, your friends will know something about you. आपको लगता है कि you are good in management, but then what do your friends think about you as a person handling management issues, and you as a person, getting into the academics of management, and you as a person. Handling the academic load and the managerial load later in life. So, and ask your friends, ask your parents, and ask to people who are already there doing management, and ask people who have already done. So इसमें क्या है कि you will get multiple perspectives coming to you, and जितनी आपके पास ज्यादा inputs हैं उतना आप ज्यादा डिसीजन जो है अच्छा ले पाएंगे. बट आई एग्री कि द मोर इनपुट्स कम टू यू, द मोर देयर इज एन probability of you getting more confused also. So but the point is that it's better to interact with more people to get the clear picture. ठीक है, हो सकता है confusion बढ़े, लेकिन जो है पिक्चर भी आपको खुद थोड़ी क्लियर होगी. So my recommendation would be that आजकल तो Google is also there, so make use of all the resources available, interact with people, and then get onto that particular decision making process.
Thank you, sir. So I think there are questions in the chat box.
Yeah. First question from Aman is smart village के लिए क्या होना चाहिए? So I think that is beyond the purview of this discussion, Aman. So I will skip to the next one. And Jaideep, what will be your book recommendations for improving critical thinking and decision making? So there are a lot of books which are available in this, Jaideep, but I recommend you start from the book which I have mentioned, that is Everybody Loves a Good Route by P. Sainath. It is not about critical thinking or decision making, right? It is about the wrong decisions. So you start off with that book, and then you can just search on the net, and you will find a lot of books. But then there is one book by Edward D. Bono, which is sort of taken as the reference. So I will just type it out for you to in a while for you to refer. And sometimes I have a fear of making wrong decision and end up taking no decision. What should I do? This is from Manan. So Manan, in defense, whenever there is a situation of life and death and war, during war especially, so it is said that it is better to take a wrong decision than taking no decision. Okay, so even if you're taking a wrong decision, at least you are doing some activity. When you're taking no decision, you are just not doing anything. So wrong decision में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा, जो आप चाहते हैं, the intended benefit will not be there, but at the same time you will learn something. Okay, so everybody who have been successful in life have had their share of failure. So don't when you are fearful of wrong decisions, you are fearful of failures. So don't be fearful of failures. Let the failure will help you in in making the right decision later on, because कि अभी किस रास्ते पे नहीं जाना, क्योंकि वो आप already experience कर चुके हैं. So I would strongly recommend that you take a decision अगर आपको लगता है कि अगर you are convinced about it, So just take that decision, but then so that at least some activity you will be doing and some experience you will gather. And if you're taking no decision, so you will be just remaining there only. So that is what is my recommendation to you. Question from Ravleen is, there are dreams and then there are obvious jobs like in teaching, banking, or other government jobs which ensure a good and stable life and seems to be an easy option and sure shot too. So what should we actually pursue? Ravleen, that's a very pertinent question. And the thing is that in case you have got dreams and you feel that there is something that you would be able to achieve rather than getting into the safe sort of job mode, then I think give it a try to pursue your dreams. But then again, be circumspective of the fact that the dreams where you stand, right? क्योंकि जनरली क्या होता है कि everybody thinks that I can make design the next rocket engine given time and resources, but then it is not possible. So before you pursue your dreams, आपको जो है अपने बारे में, अपने स्किल सेट के बारे में, अपनी कैपेबिलिटीज के बारे में जो है वो पता होना बहुत जरूरी है. So once you are aware of your skill sets, your capabilities, then of course you should be there should be no stopping for you. So definitely you should go for chasing your dreams. And I think I can connect with this personal example because for me leaving the safe government job of Indian Navy, right, was also a very big decision because I was there in my comfort zone. So but then I took a call that okay, now I should try something different, something else. But it was not an impulsive decision. Before taking this decision, I actually did a lot of homework, and I saw, okay, now I have got a IT background, so I should get into a IT sort of a job. And then I realized ki whatever is my knowledge, is it up to date with what is available outside? So I did that sort of a check. And once I did that, I realized that, okay, I need certain certifications and certain, knowledge. I need to enhance my knowledge in some, in some areas. So I studied a lot and I made sure that I, have that, that sort of skill set available with me. And then I took this jump. So again, so if you have dreams, so definitely pursue your dreams, but be realistic as well. So that is my advice. So next question, Dr. Mukesh, which is better, think about today and live in comfort zone, or think about future and keep on struggling to make things better? Sir, this is a very difficult question for me to answer. So I think the point is that I should always be there on the future, because if we live in a comfort zone, ultimately the purpose will be lost. So till the time I think we have got a purpose in life, and there is some urge when you're getting up in the morning to do something different, to work, to look towards a purpose. So till that time you can say that you're totally living a life. So what I would again, no straight answers, but then definitely it is that till the time you are working to make things better, I think it is a good thing. But again, we are struggling to make things better to finally come in a comfort zone. So what I would say is that this comfort zone that is a temporary state. So it's good to be in a comfort zone for a while, but then you should always look for a next purpose in life.
Any more questions?
Any other question?
Okay, sir, I would like to ask one thing more. Like in our research fields, like where we are doing our PhDs or any another kind of research work. So when we have to start doing our research, we generally see which experts are available with us and what are their areas, and then we go with that. So can you just put some highlights on the thing that when we have to choose some research area or something that we need to research on, so what kind of thinking we should have on that time, and what decisions, what type of decisions or what kind of decisions we can make in that time? Because sometimes we go with the situation and then after that we see that we had chosen the wrong path and we cannot go onto this path anymore. So if you can put some highlight on these things, sir.
Yeah, sure. So, what I feel about research is, like, when I was at IIT Madras, so again, during my MTech, so I had a research project with me as well, and I had again, my fair share of failures in that. So, what I realized in over there is, especially in the academic community, that even if a research results in a failure, so it is documented, and then it means that somebody else who is sort of pursuing that particular research, he knows that which particular path he should not take. So so once you are doing a research and you think that you have you have arrived at a dead end, so that as long as you're documenting it, as long as that dead end becomes a reference for others to know that this is a path which is to be avoided, then I think you have done your job even after you have failed. But then coming to the aspect that again ultimately all of us are looking for a success, and then we are all looking for making some sort of a change in a research we are doing. So usme there are two things. The first thing is that whenever you're looking at a problem, don't read up on it from anywhere else. Okay, just look at the problem from a very top level, from a very simplified level, and think of the answers from within. Because as soon as you have the academic papers, the research papers, and expert sort of views available with you, so all that views will sort of guide your thought process towards a particular path. Okay, and that path may result in future or may not result in may result in success or may not result in success, but then it is a path which the collective knowledge of people would be following, and you will be going the same path, and more often than not it would be the correct path. But my advice is that whenever you're looking at a problem, so just don't read up on it, just think from a very fresh perspective. And that is the way to. And of course there is something known as lateral thinking, that uh, read about some the problems which the some other people have solved in a different sort of a area. For example, some solution to medical problems may lie in in a computer or a technical problem as well. So there is a study which gets into those modes also. Not at the one-to-one mapping may not be there, but at a generic level it may be there. So so the answer to your question, just give it a fresh sort of a perspective, and even if you fail, so you are paving the path for you are paving the path for success of someone else. So that is what I would suggest.
Thank you, sir.
And next is JD, what would be our critical thinking decisions about our future career we may want to pursue? Jaideep, so actually, this is, the answer to this question would be, with you only. So, because whatever future career you want to pursue, you need to, the answer lies within you. You need to think that what are your strong points, and then based on that, you need to take that decision. So again, now the apply this critical thinking principles, or just introspect a bit. There is something known as SWOT analysis. Carry out a SWOT analysis, and SWOT is I will just write it down. Yeah, so carry out a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis means strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So what do you think are your strengths? What do you think are your weaknesses? Opportunities means what are the opportunities you have to, to mitigate your weaknesses and capitalize on your strengths. And then the threats, what are the threats that you feel would be there if you take a particular path. So ऐसे करके there are a lot of other frameworks available which you can think about and think about, and then again the answer to this question will be coming from you. So think ki what is good about you that somebody else will hire you. Think from the other decision way ki suppose you are an employer of a IT company or a manufacturing company, तो आप कैसे आदमी को आप हायर करोगे, आप एक ऐसे आदमी को हायर करोगे जिसमें वो स्किल सेट हो, राइट, जिसमें सॉफ्ट स्किल्स हो. तो एंड देन यू थिंक कि ओके नाउ आप उस लेवल तक कैसे जा सकते हैं. So that would be my advice to you.
Okay,
And I'm just typing the book, another book name, author name, and that is again a reference for you. Yeah.
thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. I think there are no queries anymore. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Padam, for this wonderful talk. And I think all of us has gained a lot from this session, and it will definitely help us all in thinking critically and taking good decisions. So thanks a lot, and we had really enjoyed the session, and it was really very, very interactive. So thank you, Mr. Sandeep Padam, once again. And I
Yes.
would rather request you to please share your presentation with us.
Yes, sure. I'll do that, and
Yes.
I will just mail it in a while.
Yes.
And thank you for giving me this opportunity. It was very nice interacting with the youngsters. As I said, that I also now feel a few years younger after interacting with all of you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you all the participants for joining for this session. And I really hope that you all people have gained a lot of new things and lot of new thinking and decision making will be there for you now. So thank you all the participants. Thank you, sir. So we can leave the meeting now. Thank you. Thank you all.